right, welcome to the STEAM event. This is our very first program here at TS McHugh's. So it's an inaugural event, so thank you for coming out and supporting it. Want to let you guys know that the event is being filmed. It will be posted online. And there is a sign-in sheet somewhere and surveys to fill out. If you guys could fill them out, that'd be fantastic. From those surveys, your name will go into a drawing for 4 Mariners tickets. So we'll see who wins those. So a little bit about how the program is going to run. Each program will have a short presentation by a speaker, about 20 minutes, and then there'll be about a 10-minute break where you can go get more food, get another drink, run to the bathroom, organize any questions you may have for the next session. So after 10 minutes, we'll come back, reconvene, and it will be a Q&A. And most of the evening will be spent in that Q&A session. It's your time to pick the speaker's brain to find out what you want to know, ask for clarification, ask for what the future can bring. So that's really what this evening is all about, is that interaction between the speaker and the audience. And then also, at some point during the evening, there will be a hands-on engaging activity. Artistic, creation, game, may just be a demonstration of how a joint works if we have a model, something that you can actually touch, and because that will help to synthesize information. And then we'll end whenever the Q&A ends and the activity ends, or when TS McHugh kicks us out. So the evening can go as long as you guys want it. All right, so into the program. I am going to be your speaker this evening. This is my company, the STEAM Event. A little bit about me. My name is Gwendolyn Kohl. I have been involved in science education for years. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Biology, and I studied sociology as well. So I like combining the two. From college, I went and worked with the AmeriCorps and the Student Conservation Association. And I did a lot of environmental camps, environmental classes, and then also trail work. I got into leading high school kids backcountry and just teaching them about survival skills, about ecology, how systems work and fit together, and then also engineering and trail maintenance, and how do you build a bridge, how do you build steps. From that, I went into actually teaching official STEM programs down in Arizona at the Arizona Science Museum. And then I came up to Oregon and taught outdoor school with the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. And from those experiences, teaching science and STEM and interacting with the people in these open, relaxed science experiments and science projects, I actually got really into experiencing the science. And I thought, why does this have to be just for kids? Adults can experience this hands-on science as well, and they can actually take it further. And kids are learning the basics, adults can learn where the future is going, what the future can bring. So that's why I'm creating the STEAM event. It's science and technology outreach, and it's to include everyone. Everyone is an artist, everyone is a scientist. So a little bit of history of why I called it the STEAM event. It's based off of STEM and STEAM curriculum. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Throw an A for arts in there and you get science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So therefore you get STEAM. I actually believe that all of these are interconnected and related. You can't separate art out from the sciences, and you can't separate sciences out from the arts. You need a creative brain to do science experiments. You have to think differently. You have to say, okay, this didn't work, what else can I try? And you can apply all sorts of science to art. So this picture right here is actually a fractal. It's a mathematical equation that's just iterated over and over, and you get these gorgeous designs. So there is a lot of science and math in art. And a lot of programs are creating official curriculum based around this. This is from the U.S. Department of Education. They, all the way back in 2010, they actually did a research study into how they thought STEM jobs were going to increase. And they thought it would increase a lot. And so based on that, they started pushing for STEM education in schools to get kids into the sciences, to get them interested in pursuing these careers that they thought would increase in opportunities. So I've taught those programs, and I want to open that up to the public, not just to students. Because if you look at history, we are changing our technology so incredibly quickly. We go from this is actually Seattle at the turn of the 1900s. So really early on in the 1900s, somebody took this picture. This was taken a few months ago from the Space Needle. It's changed a lot. All of this has grown up and developed. So where will we be in the next 100 years? What will the Port of Seattle look like? That science and technology is being developed right now. And so I want to get the people researching that science and technology and creating it out to meet the public, and the public to meet them, to shake their hands, see them face to face, talk to them, ask them questions. So that's why I'm creating the STEAM Vent, to kind of open up that forum for the researchers creating the tools that's going to take our civilization into the future to interact with an audience, a public audience. And that is where the STEAM Vent fits in. My vision is of regular events that occur in venues everywhere, and that have a speaker, an expert in some technology that's helping to shape civilization through science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, to come and to meet people, shake their hands, meet them face to face, and show that everyone can actually take part in this. Everyone is a scientist, everyone is an artist. They think creatively, they can look at a presentation and say, how does that affect me? How can I incorporate that into my life? And that's participation. So that's my vision for what the STEAM Vent is going to be, where it's going. And my mission to get it there is to create these regular events that actually integrate into the community and support the community. So you have different communities. Here at TS McHugh's, it's the last Wednesday of every month, and we're going to have speakers come in and present technology, and that's going to support this venue of TS McHugh's. They're going to get more business. People are going to recognize it as they walk down the street and say, hey, that's where I go to the STEAM Vent every month. And you're going to get to know the other people in the neighborhood. You're going to get to know what they do, what organizations they're affiliated with, and it's going to create just a network of support for this local community. And that local community can actually be tied into the greater community of STEM and of STEAM, and it can be taken nationally, internationally, globally, which I think is an awesome way to grow. A very important aspect of the STEAM Vent is the atmosphere in the venues. I don't want it to be just a lecture with somebody standing up here and flipping through slides and saying this is what I do and then running out. It should be very interactive, very relaxed. So this is a restaurant. You have food and drink in front of you. You can chit chat, you can have intimate conversations. You'll get a chance during the break to kind of talk about what you've heard with your neighbors, and then come back and make it a Q&A. Make it interactive, hear what everyone else has to say, how other people understood it. Maybe they'll ask questions that you didn't even think of. And so all of this is going to merge science and art, merge that critical thinking, scientific method with the creativity that makes civilization go on. And some values that I have for this STEAM Vent is to make the world a better place. I really think that by creating a forum to engage people with this advanced technology, with how the future is being built, is gonna integrate it into society faster and in a way that is better for society than just having somebody say, hey, look, we developed this, use it in this way. it's good to be able to say, maybe we can use it differently in our community, and to have that forum to create. And so I've said it several times, community is incredibly important, not just around the STEAM vent, but the STEAM vent supporting local communities, bringing business into the local venues that we go into, connecting people that may be able to help one another outside of the STEAM vent program. And through all of this, I really want the STEAM vent and the people involved in this STEAM vent to contribute to global shifting, civilization shifting technology programs. And what that is, if you haven't ever heard that term other than tonight, civilization shifting technologies are very simple. They're technologies that change how a civilization acts. And they start with just material science and energy and bioscience. And as these go down, they get more complicated and they build up on the ones before them. So if you think about materials, what are materials that we use every day? We use oil and gas to burn for energy every single day. That actually shapes our civilization. Until we figured out how that we could use oil in that way, our civilization didn't look like this. And from figuring out how to do that, we actually built upon that, and we got really complicated infrastructure now. So these, building upon one another, are shifting our civilization into the future, and they're going to connect us now, today, with what can be. So to make this into a company, I want to be successful business, and I've never created a business before. So I was going through what I would need to make this into a business, and some things that I figured I would need to minimum to provide a really good quality program is this stuff up here, and I've priced them out. I have some of it. Some of it's borrowed. The projector and the screen I actually wasn't able to get tonight, so I've rented this TV. I kind of like the TV. it might be replacing the projector and the screen, but I don't know. And then I've estimated a monthly budget here. So how much the minimum amount that STEAM Vent needs to earn in order to break even. So some of these change from month to month, some of them don't. And something that I'm learning about salaries is I thought that as an employee, when you got a check, that was the amount that the company paid to you. And I'm finding out that is not the case. There's a whole bunch more that the company has to pay on top of the amount that the employee actually gets. So this is what the company would have to pay out for a $3,000 a month salary, which is pretty average. And these are, some would fluctuate, some wouldn't. These are fixed monthly prices, the website fees, communications fees, so paying for internet and phone. All of this, one venue, one time a month, is almost $5,600. So that's a pretty, for a startup event where I didn't want to charge money to have people come in, that's a lot of capital to create somehow. So I was going through and I was like, all right, I have to charge people. Like, that's going to be a minimum basis revenue income to make this happen. So I chose $10 per ticket per event, and that was comparing it to a night out, like so dinner and a movie. You buy dinner and you pay for a $10 movie ticket. That's what you would get here. You would get dinner, a chance to eat dinner and meet with friends, and then after you ate, you'd be paying $10 for an interactive engagement. So you wouldn't be sitting passively watching a movie. You'd actually get to engage with the speaker and learn something. So that's what I compare the price to, is a night out on the town, going to a movie, going to the STEAM Vent, and engaging with technology. And based on that ticket price, I would have to reach almost 560 people. So what I'm doing is I'm expanding I'm going to try for more times a month at each venue. I'm going to have multiple venues, and some of these prices will go up, but not all of them. And so I can reach more people at more venues in more communities, and in that way build actually national, international communities based on small local groups, and then they can connect to bigger groups. And then there are also other ways to create revenue, and I was brainstorming some of those. I'd love to have swag, t-shirts, postcards, stuff like that, not only with the Steamvent logo, but also with our speaker logo and their organization to promote their research and help get news out about what they're doing and what they're creating. So those will happen eventually. This is the very first one, and since I'm giving the presentation about what it is, I waived the fee. I didn't want to make you guys pay for the first one to see me up here talk about the company. There is a donation hat if you want to throw some donations in the hat. But this event is really about you getting to know what the Steamvent is, how I want it to integrate into your community, and how you want it to integrate. So it's not just about me coming in and saying, this is what I want to do. I want to hear about how you want to see it work in your community, what you want from the Steamvent. So based on that, that's where I'm taking this. It's going to grow from Seattle up into Vancouver, down into Portland, further down into California, further east. I have contacts I'm talking with right now out in Scotland, so it can go international. Seattle is a great place to start it because there are tons of local resources here. There are experts in these advanced technology fields that I can pull in very easily. But there are also experts other places, and Florida might want to hear somebody from Seattle speak about something that's not happening down there in Florida. So I want to eventually be able to fly in experts to other areas so that they can get to know those people, and those people can learn what's happening in other places in the world. That's going to jump my budget up, so that's not going to happen right away, but eventually that is what I want to happen. So some further resources for STEM and STEAM. This is my website, thesteamvent.com. This is my contact info. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and a meetup group. My background being in leading trail crews hasn't really integrated me with social media, so I'm learning it. Bear with me, it's a slow learning curve, but it's happening. And so feel free to connect with me on those. I love to hear feedback. I love to hear opportunities that you hear of that you think the Steamvent would be appropriate for, or that you would like to get involved in through this. Some further local resources, actually, because they're in your community and awesome. The Pacific Science Center is our local science museum. And they actually run a science cafe 3 times a month at different locations. Science on Tap is another science cafe that happens once a month up in Ravenna. The public broadcasting, KCTS, is a part of PBS and NPR. They're always good for science outreach. They promote education really well, so you can go check out their websites and they'll have resources for you up there. The Right Brain Initiative is actually an organization that I just found down in Portland, Oregon, and they have a really cool thing going. They are integrating art into other classrooms, because down in Portland, as happened many places, as budgets were cut in schools, art programs were the first programs to get cut. And they said there's no reason that somebody has to go to a separate art class. Art can be incorporated into all the other subjects. So they're creating curriculum for science classes, for social study classes, to actually get to make creative hands-on projects. When you're studying volcanoes and you build a volcano, you learn about the geological processes that happen in a volcano, but you also use creativity and you actually create a model volcano. You build it out of some material, you paint it. So that's art, and they're promoting that type of curriculum in other classrooms. And then you have the national programs. NASA has a wonderful STEM education program, and the U.S. Department of Education also has STEM resources. So if you check out their websites, they have a lot of further material if you want further classroom material. So that is the presentation about the steam vents. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to take a quick break, get more food if you want, get another drink if you want, run to the bathroom, and in 10 minutes we'll reconvene, maybe 5, we'll see. There's not very many of you, so whenever you want to start the question and answer, we'll start the question and answer. So thank you very much.